Is it money?
Maybe.
To Jack.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
that's pretty cool. Dear Will, congratulations on an exceptional season with the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers. It was a great final series and you're very proud of the win. I'm pleased to advise you that you've been selected in the Australian Boomers Olympic squad to represent Team Australia at the Paris 2024 Olympics. Warm regards, Brian Goorjian.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Welcome back into Nothing But Net. You love to see that. Jack McVeigh and Will Magner, massive seasons in the NBL, and now they're in the Boomers squad. And we've got the main man here, Brian Goorjian. We always love to catch up with you, Gorge. And let me hit you right between the eyes first with that then. We just seen those two guys. And a lot of people will say, well, how are they going to fit into this squad when you've got so many NBA players in the mix that, of course, we're at the World Cup as well. So are players like Jack McVeigh and Will Magner going to camp with a legitimate opportunity to make this team and trip to Paris?
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that we got from the World Cup was we introduced 6 new players, which and 3 new starters, and hadn't seen them play as a group before. And you come out of that and it's lessons learned. What are the pieces, or what are we needing skill-wise to improve for the Olympics? And, one of the things was rim protection. And that's really an area, not only did the Tasmania Jack Jumpers have a great season and these 2 players play well, but they're also have skill packages that we're a little under pressure with our team at the Cup. So shooting from the perimeter, which McVeigh is one of the best in the competition and one of the best in the squad. And Magner does a great job of physicality now that Baines isn't there and he protects the rim. So there's no guarantees this camp is going to be a fist fight. But I do think both of these players have the skill packages that we lack depth on. And I think both of them see themselves as Boomers and aren't coming in to be a part of it and be happy to be in the mix. I think they want to be on this team and think they're good enough. And I think that's an important aspect to it as well.
So assuming full health, which we hope in the lead to Paris, but you know that things can go wrong. But assuming everyone's healthy, a lot of people will say, okay, well, including myself, Jock Landale, Dwight Breath, they'll be on the team. They've got the experience, they've performed. Can you take 3 traditional centres if Will Magner is a third option there?
Well, when you put the 9 together, let's say as you're putting the team together, always you get to that point of 9. And now those 3 players, if everyone is healthy, those players, is it a defensive player? Is it a perimeter shooter? Is it a rim protector? And I'm not going to know that till we put this all in the mix. But what I want to have there is those skill packages available to pick from. And like I said, when you look at Reith and you look at Jock, if you do have both of them, it's not a guy you roll the ball into the block to. It's a guy that can bang bodies around for a few minutes and protect that rim if you can be afforded that luxury. And that's the question you're asking. Also, the defensive aspect of ball pressure and picking that ball up the floor was missing with the group that we had. So again, I don't know which piece it's going to be. I'm going to have to see which is the one that has the biggest impact, but they're both going to get a strong look.
Hey, Gorge, you mentioned about some of the lessons that were learned from the World Cup. And I know we've had conversations about different aspects of this team, and one of them was leadership. And I'm curious where Matthew Dellavedova fits in this mix now, and not just as a leader. He had a terrific NBL season with Melbourne United, but how do you view Della's place in this mix now, and has it changed from where it was leading into that World Cup camp?
Well, I think that the defensive side of the ball, like I said, became more apparent, and missing him in that position was noticeable. And as you said, we had a bunch of new players, a bunch of new guys in there, and we're trying to develop them as leaders. But that's an aspect that was missing, and we're trying to grow it within the group. But, if you brought a Deli in, he would definitely add to it. And the other piece about Delly is a lot of these guys that come into camp, it's different. They're in different parts of their career. And I think Delly was in a situation where he was at Sacramento and Mike Brown brought him in to booster the culture in his first year there. It wasn't really a playing situation. So when he came in, he hadn't had a lot of reps and he hadn't been on the floor in games very much, where now you look at him and he's playing at another level to what he was when he came into our camp because of the situation with Melbourne United, him being a focal point and him trying to lead that team to a championship. But again, if you said to me positionally, what's the toughest position that we have in our group? It's that one spot. We brought Dyson Daniels in to the World Games because if you don't, he has no chance at the Olympics. But by doing that and giving him that opportunity and being a part of it, you got to give him a real look now. So again, there's no guarantees, but Delly's in a better situation with where the team's at and where he's at than he was leading into the World Cup.
Hey, Gorge, last time I saw you over here in the US, you had one of the most ridiculous itineraries I've ever seen. I'm not really sure how you were actually awake, but we spoke about all these guys that you were catching up with. And Patty Mills, obviously the heartbeat of this program for so long. And everyone's focusing now on some of those young guards that you mentioned. But how important is the skill set of what Patty Mills still brings to this team for this run here in Paris?
Well, the other ability to score the ball and create your own shot. And again, he's the best player that we have in that area. And number two is his leadership ability. And number three is shooting the ball. So he ticks a lot of boxes. But again, these guys coming in, it's going to be interesting. For some of the guys, it's another year older, another year of a little less time on the floor. So I'm excited about him. And as you said there, he's been a staple to this thing, to its success. And he's a piece that we really don't have coverage for, excuse me.
So you mentioned shooting a couple of times in this chat, and the guys that are already in this squad, we've seen great improvement from Josh Green and Dyson Daniels, and we see Josh Giddey continuing to work on his three-point shot. Where do you find the importance of a real specialist shooter? We know Chris Golding's been a part of this program for a while, but someone like DJ Vasiljevic that you bring into this squad as well, is that a role that you believe this team will need, maybe added specialist shooters?
Yes, sir. And I again, you're back in that box from 9 to 12. Where is it a DJ where you need just to, there's 5 minutes to go in this, or, the game we've got this group on and we need a shooter. Is it, we also struggled with that small lineup with rebounding in the defensive side of the floor. It was really a step backwards from when we got the medal. The difference between us then, and a lot's been talked about our offensive end of the floor. We scored more points than we'd ever scored at a World Cup. But the weakness on the offensive end was the shooting of the ball, but the forest fire was the defensive side of the ball. So is it a defender? Is it a shooter? Is it a rebounder? When you put those other 9 together, and that 9, there's going to be a real battle there. That's why there's a real challenge in the guard spots in the front line now when you got everybody healthy and it's an Olympic year, which, again, when I look at the whole group on paper, it's exciting. But the questions you're asking, those final pieces, what's important to me is that there's coverage. And is there a leader there that we can add to the team? Is there a defender that we can add to the team? Is it a rim protector we can add to the team? And those are the guys that we put around the 12 that were selected for the World Cup.
Yeah, Gorge. Well, you know me well enough now. I'm going to continue to dig for those final answers, even though we're months away from you making those decisions. We appreciate the insight, though. What about the group in general? Now, this is another thing that is a little bit tricky for the Boomers. You don't know who's going to fill out that group. You know you've got Canada. Is it any problem for the Boomers that you're not going to know who's actually in that group until a couple of weeks before this thing tips off?
Honestly, it's how it operates. It is what it is. But I think the main thing that you get from walking away from it, and it was presented to me when I took the Boomers job. If you're going to get a medal, if you're going to go where you need to go, you got to be able to play with the Europeans. And we lost to Germany and we lost to Slovenia. When we got that medal, we beat Italy, we beat Germany, we beat Slovenia. The way is through European basketball. So our program leading in, one of the things we've identified is we're going to have to play a lot of European teams. If we play 8 games, let's play 6 of them against European teams. So in our pool, if we get out of our pool, getting through our pool, getting a medal, it's going to be able to compete against European style basketball, which is all, I mean, there's little wrinkles that are different with each team, but it's a similar style of play.
We love it, Gorge, and we absolutely appreciate the time. You're always so open with us and happy to answer any question. We know the road starts now. It's been going for a while for you, but thanks again for the time.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.